Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of mprugs.com. My name is Mike. I'm the moderator in a series of videos that is all about handmade carpets from around the world. Welcome you to our channel. Hope you and your family are doing well. In today's episode, I want to answer some of the questions I've been getting in regards to designs of not just Persian carpets, but from other various countries. This is all about carpet designs, and I want to show you using two examples that we were able to get. These are extremely rare, not just rare carpets, but these are great examples that I can showcase to you about how designs in Persian rugs, how they are made, how they are then sometimes used to make other types of rugs, and also how they are literally stretched out and all that. There's a lot of thought that goes into the Persian rug designs, not just Persian rugs, but carpets from around the world. And like I said, these are two very rare examples. These are very fine pieces right here to my left and right. And for example, these are actually all four of these are Turkish silk Hereke rugs. But great examples. So for those of you that are into handmade carpets, if you look at them as a form of art, and if you're just interested in the gift, what I call them a gift. It's personal passion of mine. Whether it's not just the Persian rugs, it's the Turkish rugs, which are a personal favorite of mine. But if you are into Persian carpet design, please watch this video because you're really going to be. There's some unique features that a lot of people are not aware of, such as, for example, here we have to my right, we have two extremely rare collectible Turkish Chinar rugs. One is a large piece. It's a 1313 quality, which comes out to be about 1,000 knots per square inch. The other one is an amazing 2020 quality. And keep in mind, a 2020 quality, these are all handmade. That means it has about 20 knots per centimeter. This translates into 2,500 handmade double knots per square inch. That is what this piece right here is all about. Absolutely phenomenal. And as you can see in the pictures here, these are amazing pieces, but there's also a beautiful story about which I will tell you later. But I hung up these two pieces because I wanted to show you. These right here are both made by the Cinar workshop, and these are identical, meaning one design that was created, and I'll explain to you a little bit about the creation later of the carpet design. When the design was made, it was literally then stretched. And then the stretched out version was used to make the 1313 quality. That is what you would expect. And these are identical. If you look at the flowers, if you look at the details, as I will show you when I do the close-ups, you will then see what I'm talking about when I say identical pieces. Now, to my left is a very popular, a very classic design. This design is called the Sad Autumn. It literally talks about family life. This right here is the original design. It is an older Ozipek piece from the Ozipek workshop in Hereke. This piece right here is rare for its, given its large size. This is about actually 1.2 meters by about 80 centimeters. This is actually very unusual to get. This is a 1616 quality. 16 quality, just so you know, 16 knots per centimeter. As you can see by the picture of the ruler, we're talking about a rug that has about 1600 knots per square inch. But like I said, in this video, it's not about showcasing amazing rugs. I want to give you a little bit about a little history and a little insights into carpet designs, because it also then later on goes into values, which I will explain to you in a minute, because this is the original design. It comes from the Ozipek workshop. Then a newer piece is over here to my far right, my far left, is the Khankhali. This is a newer piece. A newer piece, we're talking about 20, 30 years old. But as you can see by the picture, very similar, virtually almost identical. But here is where the difference comes in. This is the Ozipek, this is the Khankhali. Both of them feature the same tree, the same flowers, the animals, birds, the birds' nests. You can see them both in the same parts of the tree. But unlike the Chinar, which are identical, you will notice, for example, at the tree, you see the little rocks there? And again, when I get behind the camera, I'm going to show you the differences. You have the rocks here, no rocks there. You have the branches. The way the tree branches is different in the original Ozipek design, the sad autumn, or some people call it the weeping tree. It's a beautiful story. It's all about family life and everything, which I'll talk about later. But you will notice the tree design is different in the Ozipek. This is the original. This is the old piece. This is the granddaddy, whereas the Khankhali, they took the design, but they made changes. The tree looks a little bit different. The birds. Here you have the birds. The story goes, this is basically, it's all about family. The birds are the parents who look after the children. And then it talks about how they evolve later. And you would almost always have, for example, you have the birds, the way they are facing, they are looking towards the bird's nest. If you look at the sad autumn, there are different interpretations of what the design means. But what I wanted to show you was you have identical design, where you had a design that was stretched. And here you have a design where one workshop, this is an authentic Ozipek, and the design is a classic Ozipek design. We have featured this very design in different Ozipek pieces that we have been able to collect. And this is what also a lot of the collectors look for. One of the things that, for example, a lot of people have contacted me about is because I have a personal passion for the older pieces, not so much the newer pieces. And I've talked about how the older, the genuine Turkish Hereke pieces, how I and a lot of my fellow collectors, a lot of people who are really passionate about these rugs, we all agree that the old Hereke, the silk and everything, the quality is much stronger than, it's much denser. It is simply more valuable than what you find even in the few newer pieces. And this is something that, before I continue, let me just mention, there's a lot of videos about the Turkish Hereke rugs in my channel. And as for those of you that may or may not know, there's a lot of fraud. There are a lot of imitation rugs being sold as the Turkish ones. So, for example, if you look at my channel, I talk about the differences between the Chinese silk rugs that are oftentimes being sold as Turkish pieces and the genuine pieces. So there's a lot of information in my channel, and also there's links and everything below in the description. Among them is a video that I've taken where I make myself available to you. If you enjoy carpets, or if you just have general questions about a carpet that you may own, feel free to look at the link below. There is a quick video that tells you what kind of pictures I need and all that. When you give me that, I can give you a quick answer. This is something I get almost every single day. I get questions from folks about a carpet that they own. I don't do appraisals. I will not tell you or guarantee that the information that I'm giving you is correct. Let me just put this up front. I hate people who pretend to be experts. For me to be able to examine a rug, I need to hold it in my hands. But 99% of the time, I will either tell you, in my opinion, this is what you got, and having the right pictures will give me all the information that I need. Or I will tell you, you know what, I strongly suggest that you should get another opinion or something. And because of the amount of questions I'm getting, I do my very best to answer them. I enjoy doing it. I want this to be an interactive channel. Also, if you enjoy all things about carpets, feel free to subscribe to our channel. And I'm going to get behind the camera a little bit because I want to show you some of the up-close features of the rugs and everything. But one of the things, as I was mentioning earlier, is that because of the amount of fraud that's out there with especially with the Turkish rugs, or for example, we see it right now with the silk rugs that are coming out of Iran, where the overwhelming majority of new pieces are actually not handmade, they're machine made. And I have made videos about them as well. But in this video, I wanted to showcase, literally show you two examples. Here you have the design. This is an authentic Chinar design, and you can see how by stretching it out, they took a 2020 quality. Imagine the design was first drawn on a checkered piece of paper. They then stretched it out, which means each square a little bit bigger. So that's how you go from a 2020 to a 1313. Here you have the Ozipek design. And like I said, this design right here is identical to others that we've had in the past. And I think I sold them all. This is the only one that I have right now that is available. But this is the Ozipek. Then we have the Handmade piece right there. And they took this design but made slight changes, so that they don't run into the whole copyright thing, and they don't want to be accused of basically copying and stealing a design. So they added their own little interpretation to it. And that is something that you also commonly find, because designing a carpet, especially in the old days, these carpets are all pre-computers, pre-industrial carpet design. So back then, they would literally draw them out by hand. Sometimes designing a carpet could take almost as long as weaving one. So the carpet designers would sometimes also then be the ones who owned the workshops. They were not the weavers. They were the designers. They would secure the wool and everything, and they basically contracted out to the weavers. So the weaver would make the rugs. This is also why, for example, in Iran, you talk a lot about, for example, the most classic example I often use is the Sarafian family or something. Or you have in Tabriz, you have a lot of the well-known weaving families, and you wonder to yourself, how can they produce hundreds and hundreds of rugs when there's simply not that many people in the family? Well, they are the designers. They are the ones who own the design, who buy the material, who basically open up the workshop, and then they bring in the weavers. And so the weavers themselves are basically employees of the workshop. And so that all gets tied in together. But the designer, the people that own the workshops, they are the ones who own the design, and they oftentimes use that design time and time again to create not necessarily identical pieces, but similar pieces. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Collectors look for the original designers. That is why the older pieces also tend to be worth more and everything, whereas the newer pieces are oftentimes inspired by the older pieces. And so I wanted to showcase these examples right here. Now I'm going to get behind the camera, as I often do, and I'm going to show you some of the features, because these are two beautiful pieces, and by me getting behind the camera I can also showcase some of the differences and everything. And then I'm going to come back to you later and say my final goodbyes. So here I'm back again as always from behind the camera, and I want to briefly show you some of the close-ups, because these are just absolutely amazing pieces. To my left is a larger Chinar. This is the 1313 quality that I think is also going to be shipped out shortly after I take the video. But here we have the 1313 quality, and here we have the 2020. And as you can tell, and I'm just going to show in, and this is what we look for. You look for the features. For example, notice the bird flying with, and then you have what looks like a little floral design, and you have the tree, you have the other bird. And when we say identical, look at this area right here. Now compare it to this area right here. You will notice how they are identical. And I'm just going to step away from it so you can see. If you notice the areas, they're all identical. The sunset. This is a 2020 piece. I'm just going to go over here to the 1313. You notice it's identical. Even the shape, you notice how here we have an inverted, almost like a triangle. You have the same type of triangle. So you can tell when you step back and you look at the two pieces, you are looking at two identical pieces. And this is really what it's all about. This is what people look for. But you can see how if this rug were to be stretched, how it would go from a 2020 to a 1313. This makes perfect sense. Now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to showcase the Ozipek, and because of its size, I'm going to have to literally step back here a little bit, and then you can see both. Now, you will notice that they both, if you just look at them, you see basically two identical rugs. But then when you look up close, you will notice, here's the Ozipek. And again, this is the signature and everything, and I've talked about the Ozipek workshop in many of my other videos. But I just wanted to showcase how there are subtle changes. This is the original design. So when others basically, if you were to call them, they say, oh no, you know what, we design our own carpets and everything. But this is also where you can tell the difference between genuine people that have the honesty to say, yeah, we took a design. For example, you see all the rocks and everything here. Now this Ozipek is about 60 years old. This is an older piece. This is a newer piece. And you notice where here, it's completely different. The branching of the tree is different. The birds, the direction in which they look is different. And you have subtle changes. Everything from the number of chicks right here in the bird's nest. Here we have 2. These are the things that people look for. And when we say older pieces, we can look at the silk and how the quality of it and the density And it's not just a knot count, it's the weight. It's the way the rug is made. We can tell the difference between, I'm just going to put these two pieces side by side and then you'll see what I'm talking about. They look and feel different. This is what the old silk is to your left. This is what the newer silk is. Even though, I mean, this is also, I mean, this is not a brand new piece right here. We are actually not big fans of the really new pieces. So this one here is about 20, 30 years old. But it's a really nice piece. But from a collector's standpoint, the collectors, they want these old classic pieces that are the genuine high-end. These are very, very fine pieces, but these are also pieces that eventually we have seen them now also appreciate in value, and simply because these are the original designs. So whenever people talk about them, I always say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with the Khankhali piece. It's a beautiful piece. The quality and everything, it looks like a piece of art. However, if you are a true collector, so to speak, then this is something that you ought to know about. So I thought I'm just going to show you some of the features and also show you some of the differences in the carpet designs and everything. And so again, I'm just going back and forth because here you see the sky, you see everything that's completely different. And like I said, I can spend an hour just showcasing all the differences and everything. And so I thought I'd just show you the close-ups of the two. This is the Sad Autumn. And then here we have the sunset design by the Chinar pieces. So I hope these close-ups was something that hopefully you enjoyed. I'm going to come back to you now with my final goodbyes. And so I'm going to see you again here in just a second. So there was our video about the carpet designs, how they come about, how they're made, and then how they're also used to make various other types of carpets. And again, I hope you enjoyed the channel. This is something that I have been getting some questions about, and so I thought the video here is to answer some of your questions and also share with you some of the insights. Again, it's all about handmade carpets here. So as I mentioned earlier, if you like our channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We do about a couple of videos a month about various types, and which I sometimes also answer some of your questions. And I have used some of our viewers' pictures of their rugs with their permission to explain to you things about Persian rugs and all that. If you like to have questions, put them in the comment section or visit us at kprugs.com. Also, again, in the description, there's a lot more information about the various rugs and all kinds of stuff. So I wish you and your family the very best. We'll be coming back to you soon. Until then, best wishes from us. Take care. Bye-bye.